Welcome back to Hypnotherapy and Wellness. My name is Andrea, and today my topic is how to create the calming response, otherwise known as the parasympathetic response, in the mind and body. A tool for combating anxiety and panic. So it's important to know how to create the calming response, otherwise known as that parasympathetic response, in the body, which will allow you to come back to calm when you need to. So let's talk a little bit about what happens in the brain and body when you become anxious, panicky, or actually have a full-blown panic attack. The first thing that happens is that the amygdala, which is part of your brain stem, sends a message to the prefrontal lobes, which I call like the CEO, leader, manager part of the brain, sends a message, danger. Danger is present. When the prefrontal lobes get that message, they stop everything they're doing. They tell the brain and body to start making all kinds of changes. And they basically sends you into survival mode, otherwise known as the sympathetic response, or fight, flight, or freeze. So once that happens, once the prefrontal lobes put you in survival mode, a lot of things start to happen. Blood and oxygen begin to get redirected away from the brain and to the big major muscle groups like the quads or the biceps. Body temperature is elevated. There's a big surge in adrenaline. Digestion gets turned off. Your heart rate gets elevated. There are things that would be helpful if you really were in an emergency situation or life-threatening situation, or if you were trying to help somebody else that was in a life-threatening situation. All these things would be very helpful. However, in this day and age, our survival mode is often getting tripped or triggered unnecessarily when there isn't really imminent danger present. So we might begin to feel anxious or panicky, but there's in fact no imminent danger, nothing truly life-threatening. Sometimes or often it's just our thoughts that are actually creating this response in the body. Maybe thoughts about what might happen in the future, things we're afraid of, or things we're fearful of, negative expectations. So unfortunately, because there's no real danger when this happens, all of these occurrences now happening in the body, all these events, these changes, begin to feel really uncomfortable. They might even make us worry that something really bad is about to happen just because we're feeling so uncomfortable and feeling so negative or fearful. So that keeps us, unfortunately, stuck in the survival mode. More adrenaline gets released, and we continue to feel like something really bad is going to happen. We continue to feel uncomfortable. So certain things like nausea happens because our digestion has been turned off. We start to feel really sweaty or shaky or dizzy. We start to have more childlike thinking. Our thoughts become more difficult, unclear, fuzzy, or foggy. We have much less impulse control because a lot of the blood and oxygen, again, have been diverted away from our brain to those major muscle groups. So interestingly, when things are in a good place, when we're calm and comfortable, normal state, 70 to 80%, or I should say 70% of the blood and oxygen in our body is going to the brain. So you can imagine how that change, diverting that blood and oxygen, would make a big change in your thinking processes. So when all this happens and there's no actual danger, we need to get the right message back to the prefrontal lobes. We need to get the message back, false alarm. There's no danger. It's okay, safe to come back to calm, to return the body to its calm state. So how do we do that? Well, I'm going to give you two ways. The first way is to take 3 or 4 really deep, slow breaths in. Diaphragmatic breathing, which is where you're using 100% or as close to 100% as you can get of your diaphragm with each breath. You're really using all of your lung capacity. You want to take a 5 count, a really deep, slow breath to the count of 5 on the inhale. Hold it for a moment, and then a nice slow 5 count on the exhale. So this is going to send that necessary signal or message back to the prefrontal lobes, and it will begin to initiate the parasympathetic calming response. That's going to reverse all those changes that were initiated by the sympathetic response or the survival mode response. So you want to keep breathing nice and deeply, full diaphragmatic breaths until you feel that you've come all the way back to calm. Once this begins to happen, and that message to get out of survival mode happens, the body can then begin to metabolize all that extra adrenaline that's coursing through your veins and body, and it will not release any more metabolism. So finally you can catch up, metabolize it all, come back to calm. Now the second way to do this, to get the message back to the part of the brain that needs to know, is to drink water, because water will turn on your digestion system. It'll turn back on digestion. And so if you're in an emergency situation, survival mode, you're not going to have time to digest or eat or drink water. So that's another way to get this message back that things must be okay. It's safe. That was a false alarm. There is no imminent danger. So drinking water is the second way. Interestingly, the parasympathetic response or state is sometimes called rest and digest for that reason. So you're always going to have the best memory, best recall, best thought processes, best impulse control, best or highest immune system when you are in your calm, relaxed state, that parasympathetic state. So you really want to spend as much time there as you can, unless there truly is an emergency or life-threatening situation. Otherwise, you want to be in the calm state. So it's really important to know how to get back to that place if you've gotten accidentally triggered. So interestingly, the same symptoms that one might feel in the fight, flight, or freeze mode, that survival mode, can also be triggered by a significant sugar level drop in the blood system. So if you're someone who experiences that often, panic or anxiety when there's no imminent danger, you might want to check with your doctor just to rule out any problems with your blood sugar level consistency. So I hope that's been helpful. In future videos, I'm going to explain how to create an anchor for calm, which will use a lot of the elements that we talked about today. Another anxiety tool, another way to come back to calm when you need to. So thank you for watching and have a great day. I hope to see you soon in the future.